if you choose not to pay the dividend on those preferred stocks, you cannot pay dividends to your ordinary shareholders until you make the preferred stockholders whole. Preferred stock is kind of a misnomer. It is actually a debt instrument that has no maturity, but for tax purposes, it's viewed as stock. Any dividends you pay on it are not tax deductible. Some people like that. It's kind of, I'm going to get money from this firm ad infinitum, or whenever, they go bankrupt. But if you haven't paid those guys, they have priority. Until you pay the preferred dividends, you cannot pay any regular dividends to your regular shareholders. But other than that, there's no limit. One thing I need to talk about long-term debt, the way it moves, long-term debt at the end of the year is equal to long-term debt at the beginning of the year. New debt minus total loan payments minus interest. Let's say you had $10 million worth of debt in the beginning of the year, and during the year, they charge you $1 million in interest. And you made $5 million payments, but of those, $1 million was actually interest payment. So you reduce your debt by only 4, not 5. Of course, if you had new debts, that's different. All right? And the way total equity moves, total equity at the beginning plus change in retained earnings plus net new equity. If you issue new shares, you issue 10 million more shares, sold them at $100 $10 a share, that's $100 million. But you may also repurchase some shares. And that's why essentially repurchasing is retiring shares. And change in retained earnings is bound with the following: NI, which is short for net income, not red income, net income, is equal to dividends paid, this is the cash one, plus change in retained earnings. So when you make some money, think of the example. I have 2 empty pockets. Somebody puts $100 into my right pocket. I think that's my net income. And they're each $1 bills. And I decide I'm going to move 20 of those into my left pocket. Those are dividends, okay? Because my right pocket is my equity pocket. Money comes in through net income, but I'm not going to keep all of it there. I'm going to move 20 of it to my left pocket. Those are dividends. By definition, the remaining 80 is going to remain in my right pocket. That is the addition or change in retained earnings, right? So that's always going to be true. Whenever you're solving problems, always have these identities around. Sometimes, it's going to ask you something that's not just a second. It's not necessarily obvious that it's given in the problem, but you could figure out what sort of an identity I have that includes that, and you go find that. Yes?
What's it say next to dividends paid in the parentheses?
Cash. I know, my handwriting, when I write it slowly, it's actually beautiful. I mean, I had stopped doing in-class exams when COVID started. Now I'm restarting it, but you guys are not getting it because I have two sections. You guys are getting Jeopardy after the chapters. They're getting in-class midterm exam every two chapters. So I'm going to compare the performance in the final exam, comprehensive final, and I have a strong suspicion the Jeopardy section is going to do much better. Because I do believe Jeopardy is a valuable learning activity. You guys are going to see that on Monday, 12th. Yeah. In fact, by next Wednesday, I need to put you guys into groups of 4. So you decide if there are 4 people that you would like to work together, let me know. Once I get those, anybody that remains, I'm going to randomly put you guys together. And by the way, not showing up without excuse on a day you're doing Jeopardy and your group is selected, not only you're not getting the attendance points, but each group is going to get 5 questions, because I'm going to have 4 groups complete. But those 5 questions counts 5 times as much as questions you answer as an individual. So you're basically giving up, if your group is selected, 5 times 5, 25, plus you also answer the remaining 15 as an individual. 40 questions, you get 0. So I'm not going to allow you to participate in the success of your group if you're not here without an excuse. So this is going to be my only warning about that. On the income statement part, you're going to define net income as sales minus costs. And when I say cost, I'm not going to include depreciation explicitly in there. So I'm going to do that separately. Minus interest expense. And the whole thing is multiplied by 1 minus tax rate. Sometimes I may ask you a question. I'll tell you what net income is. In fact, I won't even tell you what net income is. I may tell you dividends, retained earnings. I can tell you sales, costs, interest, and tax rate. And I'm going to say, what is depreciation? So, first of all, in order to find depreciation, I need to know net income, right? Well, how do I find net income? I told you dividends and change in retained earnings. Once you have that, just solve for depreciation. You can do that either algebraically, or you can use that solver thing I have. That's up to you. Just for the hell of it, you can always have earnings before taxes, net income over 1 minus tax rate. So if you ever needed EBT, or alternatively, net income is EBT times 1 minus tax rate. All right? Remember all these quizzes, you're at home, and even if you were here, you should have an open book anyway, but have your notes available. Don't let it take longer than it should. Don't leave learning to the quiz time. Because you a lot of guys are thinking, okay, I'll just Google stuff. That's what you want to do, fine. It's your business. But then during the Jeopardy, suddenly you have to make a decision. Are you going to Google stuff then? Maybe you will, but I'm not going to wait, 10 minutes for a simple answer. At some point, I'm going to demand an answer. In fact, if for the rest of you, you have to make a decision whether you agree with the book or not. You'll get the hang of it. Now, let me launch this quiz, and I haven't done any videos on the conceptual stuff. It doesn't matter for you guys, but for my Tuesday Thursday section, the way they take their exam is they get half the points for the right answer, the other half for actually telling me why that answer is correct. We're going to have that discussion in Jeopardy, but that's going to be only for learning purposes. But in the final exam, you're going to be subject to the same format. So you need to kind of learn how to think about how to argue and reason. So when I ask you, let me find a question that is subject to reasoning. And that's kind of more fill in the blanks. For example, this would be net new debt. That's equal to, in this case, this is